All right, now we're joined by Ann Coulter. Ann, thank you for joining us.
Sure, anytime.
So I was down there in Texas and in Mississippi with Donald Trump when he started to put a little bit more meat on the bones about what he's talking about with immigration and his plans, or his erstwhile plans, I guess, for deporting those that got into this country illegally. What the heck is going on?
Well, I don't think he's putting more meat on the bones. He's just being contradictory. Simultaneously, he was giving unbelievably fabulous speeches in Fredericksburg, Virginia, in Tampa. I just think he seems to be getting contradictory advice. I mean, I've seen these rumors that he's now being advised by Roger Ailes, the former head of the Marco Rubio super PAC, known as Fox News. And, suddenly he's sounding like Rubio. And he's made mistakes like this before. He's not a politician. We know that. So a lot of the legerdemain from the amnesty cult, he doesn't know that it is legerdemain. The business about back taxes, for example. I'm sorry, this is being taped live. Sorry, all hell's breaking loose here.
Well, that's what's going on. That's good. So keep going.
Okay, I'm about to pre-tape Hannity, and then I have to leave for the airport. That's why we're so rushed, and I'm in the middle of having the makeup done, but very sorry. What I was just saying is this is nonsense, this business about how it's not amnesty if they pay back taxes. What that means is, which he may not know, the same way he didn't know that, a health exception for abortion means a girl is depressed, she can't go to her senior prom. That was one of the early mistakes he made, and I understand. A normal person hears you want a health exception, and we're compassionate people. Of course there should be an exception for a woman's health. And then you realize that the whole thing is a scam. Well, the whole thing with back taxes is a scam. What back taxes mean is there's no illegal alien making enough money to owe anything in back taxes. We give them approximately $30,000 per illegal alien in earned income tax credit refund. So back taxes means we give them money. The business about no citizenship, another scam of the Gang of Eight. Don't worry, no citizenship. Yeah, that'll last approximately 30 seconds before the ACLU brings suit. And a court says, no, we're not going to keep, this second class of individuals here doing our work for us and not allow them ever to become citizens. So he was using all the cliches from the Gang of Eight bill. I don't know who he's getting it from, but the idea that his base is not going to mind is nonsense, and that the idea that it helps him with anyone is nonsense. Look, he can soften his rhetoric. He doesn't have to express exuberance over a deportation force, but the way he's been talking about it in his speeches is absolutely pitch perfect. It's a somber, serious problem. We're not taking these people's lives lightly, but we do have to take care of Americans first. And that's what he should be saying, not going back on, saying one thing in the speech and then using the crazy Gang of Eight nonsense when he's talking to Hannity. Maybe it's just something in the air at Fox News.
But let's be clear, though. If he does do what he seems to be doing here, if he does say, okay, those that are not criminals should be allowed to stay and earn some form of legal status short of citizenship, is that amnesty? Is what he is talking about amnesty?
I suppose so. I'm not sure exactly how you just set it up there. So,
the way I set it up is very simple. That they are allowed to stay. They get legal status short of citizenship. Is that amnesty?
If they all get to stay, all 40, 50 million, of course it is. But I would phrase it differently if I were, and he has phrased it differently. Everyone who is here in the country illegally is here illegally. They have no constitutional right to remain. We will decide who stays and who goes on the basis of what's good for America. The main problem with what he's doing now isn't so much that he's coming out for amnesty. He's still, even if it were amnesty, and no, I do not think Donald Trump is granting amnesty based on the bulk of his other statements, not only for the past year, but just this week. Just on either side of that Hannity interview, look at what he had to say. But it's not helping him. Who does this idiot consultant, whomever it is, who told him this was a good idea, who does he think he's winning over? He on one hand, he ticks off his base. On another hand, everyone who already hates him still hates him, but now can accuse him of being a flip-flopper. So how is this helping? I mean, he's just much less likely to be in a position to build that big, beautiful wall by taking the advice of the same consultant types that destroyed the candidacies of his rivals.
So, and I don't know if you heard Rush Limbaugh earlier today talking about this. He could barely get through the sentence. We'll play you a little slice of it here. He talks about the news out of Donald Trump. Take a listen.
Who knew that it would be Donald Trump to come along and convert the GOP base to supporting amnesty the same week Ann Coulter's book comes out? Poor Ann.
So poor Ann, he says he thinks that maybe it's not going to hurt the base except for Ann Coulter. Maybe Ann Coulter jumps ship over this. Does Ann Coulter jump ship over this? And what's the response given? You've got a book out just this week praising him and his immigration plans.
In Trump we trust.
E pluribus awesome.
Indeed.
No, this is part of the media's hysteria every time I've given my candidate a little constructive criticism. I mean, I did it before with the Heidi Cruz retweet. I did it when he went soft on, I mean, it was similar to this. He's not a politician. He makes some mistakes. And he made some mistakes, you will recall, you may look it up, going back and forth on the H-1B visas. I give my guy constructive criticism, but the idea that I'm throwing a tantrum and walking away is completely a media invention. The business about this could be the shortest book tour ever was what's known as a joke.
I think we read it as such. I think the book's on the shelves. Maybe there's a different afterword at the end of this. But Ann, isn't that...
No, I don't think so. I don't think this is... Look, he just needs to be... This has happened before. It's so minor compared to the bulk of his statements. Even if what you were saying is true, which I do not believe, that he's for amnesty as opposed to using these stupid talking points of someone who apparently was writing talking points for, Marco Rubio until now. Even if he believed this, he would still be 1 million times better than any Republican to run for president in my lifetime on the issue of immigration. We know we're going to get a big cutback in immigration from terrorist-producing nations. We know we're getting a wall. There's absolutely no possible way we were ever getting a wall with any other Republican, to say nothing of Democrats. And right now, we're not, in the essay portion of the exam anymore. We're down to a multiple choice. It's Hillary or Donald Trump. And Hillary has promised to give all 30, 40, possibly 60 million illegal aliens amnesty. She's going to fling open the border. She wants to more than quadruple the number of Muslim refugees we're bringing in. That's it. It's lights out for America if she is elected. So, I mean, even if he were doing what you're saying, he would be hands and shoulders above anyone else to run for president in my lifetime, I guess with the exception of Tom Tancredo. Yet and still, I don't think that is what he's saying, because, again, look at his speech in Fredericksburg, look at his speech in Tampa, right around that Hannity interview. What I am doing, this is my inside scoop for you, is I am trying to encourage Donald Trump to dump whomever the moron is who told him Americans are staying up at night worried about how people who broke our laws entering, broke our laws staying here, broke our laws taking jobs, how comfortable they are. That's really, I mean, how many transgenders are there in America? I keep wondering this with all this obsession with transgender bathrooms. 200, 300? I promise you, there are more transgenders in America than there are Americans worried about the comfort, safety, and security of illegal aliens. They're worried about, their own kids. They're worried about their own school districts and emergency rooms. Every illegal alien, the most law-abiding illegal alien, this is in the magnificent new book, In Trump We Trust, E Pluribus Awesome. Take a law-abiding, hard-working, illegal alien, never broken the law, been here 15, 20 years, has only one child, and we'll assume that child does not need English as a second language classes, does not use the emergency room, does not get free school lunches. Just the education costs of that one child will add up to more than $150,000 from grades K through 12. Well, what taxes are they paying? The only taxes they pay are sales taxes. The illegal alien would have have to spend $125,000 a year just to pay for the cost of the schooling. Every illegal alien is costing Americans money. We're
Ann, it strikes me that
but people are sick of it.
It strikes me that Trump is not the only one who's being contradictory here. You are. I mean, you outline in your book, and remember, it's called "In Trump We Trust." You outline what is at the core of the appeal of Donald Trump. You say, and I'm quoting you, no matter how much the media and the political class yelled at Trump and demanded apologies, he never backed down. Now he is backing down on not some side issue. He's talking about.
I strongly disagree. He is not backing down. He said something stupid. He's done it before. He'll do it again.
So if he proposes, if I am right and you are wrong, and he is moving in this direction, he is proposing legal status for those in the country illegally, will you consider that backing down?
Not on the entire immigration policy. I think it would be stupid and it would hurt him strategically.
Can I ask you? I want to play one more little bit of sound for you. This was Katrina Pearson talking about this, her effort to explain what Trump was doing.
He hasn't changed his position on immigration. He's changed the words that he is saying. What he has always said from the beginning is that he does not that he does not want to allow people to stay in this country illegally. He does want to build the wall, but he wants to work with Congress to get things done.
All right. So she's saying he's not changing his position. He's changing the words he's used.
I think that's what he was trying to do. I think that some idiot advisor told him, you need to soften your language. And by the way, he does need to soften his language. I mean, it's weird. He's gone from one extreme of this total exuberance over the mass deportation force to the nonsense talking points from Gang of Eight. But I think it's exactly like when he said he was for exceptions for abortion in the case of health. Women's health. And you'll remember a lot of the people who are never Trumpers now went mental. And I said, no, it's just that he's not a politician. He doesn't know what this lingo means. And when he says pay back taxes, I mean, he hasn't been a politician. He does sometimes resort to stupid talking points. Rarely, not very often, I must say, as opposed to every other candidate running for president who is nothing but talking points. And he resorted to a stupid talking point that isn't true. There are no back taxes to be paid. That means we pay them. That's a really important point. The same way a woman's health doesn't mean that the woman will be, paralyzed for the rest of her life or has to lose a limb or something. What it means is a girl is depressed about going to her high school prom. Oh, abortions are okay. It's legerdemain. But he fell into it. But then you look at his speech in Tampa, and he makes very clear our immigration policy. And this is one thing. Even though he has not been a politician, the one thing that his life is shot through with, and a point I make in Trump We Trust, one thing that has been absolutely consistent with Donald Trump, even when he didn't know the intricacies of these various political issues that are your and my lives, he has always been incredibly patriotic, cared about Americans first, cared about working-class Americans and middle-class Americans. And that he will put first. If he had simply said, illegal aliens have no right to be here, we will decide whether or not they stay or go, and some may stay, some who help our country, some of the really terrific ones, the great ones, the ones who have been here for a while, if they are good for this country, they will stay. Okay, fine.
But, Ann, I guess I don't understand why this doesn't freak you out a little bit. I mean, conservatives for years have said...
Did you see my tweets? I'm pushing back.
I get it, but conservatives for years have said politicians have said one thing, have done something else when they're in office. This is a guy that's saying both things before he gets there. Another through line of Donald Trump, I think you'd agree. How are you going to trust him on everything else? Yeah, he's said a lot of things on a lot of different issues. He gave to the Clinton Foundation. He's voted for Democrats. He's supported Democrats.
Oh, so, now you're just flinging everything.
No,
including the kitchen
but
sink.
I mean, you're for the guy. You're all in for the guy. But why? How do you know you can trust him?
The media has been absolutely hysterical, including Fox News, including most of the conservative media. Hysterical from the beginning over his plan to allow ICE to do its job. We don't need a deportation force. We already have one. It's called Immigration and Customs Enforcement, and to build the wall. And I got to tell you, that after he gave that opening speech, the Mexican rapist speech that won my heart, I still wasn't convinced. I was just waiting for him to back down. I'm just waiting. attacking, because that's what they always do when politicians come under attack. In fact, 2 weeks later, we saw Scott Walker back down over anchor babies. Trump isn't backing down and never has, despite total mass universal hysteria. He has never backed down over anchor babies, including calling them anchor babies. He has never backed down on the wall. He has never backed down. He has simply refined his position on Muslim immigration, or given us further details. I understood him perfectly well the first time. Yes, we'll have a ban on Muslims, but there will be exceptions, as I describe in the book, contrary to, people who were taking 17 additional psychopathic steps and he banned King Abdullah of Jordan. No, I understood. General idea is we ban Muslim immigration, but there will be exceptions, known as the fine art of making distinctions. He hasn't backed down in the face of mass hysteria, so he's not going to back down. This is him using a talking point he shouldn't have used. So fire that person.
All right. So we'll see. We have Eric Cantor tweeting that he's happy to see that Trump has endorsed Jeb Bush's immigration plan.
Well, he hasn't endorsed Jeb Bush's immigration plan. I mean, I have a right to be ticked off. None of these people do. Trump's voters have a right to be ticked off. None of these people do. They would never, ever, ever build a wall. They want to grant amnesty immediately. They would never consider a Muslim ban. I'm sorry, Cantor, Ryan, McConnell, the rest of them. No, their response to that is, that's not who we are. Well, Trump's not backing down on that.
Okay, so we know we got to let you go. One more thing, you mentioned Ailes in the beginning. Do you see Roger Ailes at work here? Is he the consultant you're thinking that you're hearing? Are you hearing Ailes' voice?
I never believed it. I thought it was all nonsense. You mainstream media reporters were sending out until that stupid talking point. But I don't know who it is. I want to find out who it is and make sure that person is never allowed in the same room with Donald Trump. And the one person he sticks to like glue is Stephen Miller, because I got to tell you, every speech, I've been critical of Trump, as I am being this week over that. I've been critical over other things. That doesn't mean, I'm not a Ted Cruz cultist or a Hillary Clinton cultist. I can criticize my guy and still support him. But since the convention and his speech at the convention, he has not made any mistakes until now. And the media just makes stuff up, reinterprets his words, doesn't show people what he says, lies about him. He has been magnificent in every speech since the convention, and I think he should just keep doing that.
Ann Coulter, the new book is In Trump We Trust. E pluribus awesome. E pluribus awesome. We're gonna get that tag all over the place. Thanks for being here. And you're not backing down. Love it. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for joining us in Powerhouse Politics.
Thank you.
Talk to you soon.
Thanks. Bye-bye.